Curious Cube.
Hi guys.
Hi.
How's
How
your
you
week
been?
been?
I have committed to MIT, so I will.
Whoa, congrats.
My chair hit the desk. But yeah, I guess I will be seeing you guys there. I mean, it would be quite sad if I didn't.
No, I'll try to avoid you every time I see you, Isabella.
Welcome back to the Curious Square.
Welcome back to the Curious Square. Dude,
You guys are
I
so
saw
weird.
when I went over to visit MIT. Wait, did I mention the story of Holden ignoring me?
No.
Not on camera.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to go visit MIT, and then I saw Holden, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Holden! Hi, I haven't seen you in person forever." And he's like, "Who are you?" And I legit thought he didn't recognize me for a second. So I held up my lanyard, which had my name, and he's like, "Isabel, I don't recognize that name." And I'm like, "Dude, after everything we've been through, man, you can't do this to me." No, and then he recognized my friend, like right in front of me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is how it is." Oh my!
Amazing.
But yes, I will be seeing you guys there. And Luke's obviously committed because
I didn't apply anywhere else
because he doesn't have any other choice.
We get it.
Anyway, but like at the same time, it's kind of sad to see that my high school math contest days are coming to a close. Though, it seems that I got roped into Arbol local against my will, so I guess that's an extra contest.
Amazing.
Did you take that already?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I was just saying that I got roped into it against my will. What other contests do I have coming up? Like
Armel itself?
Armel itself. That's the only one I could think of.
IMO?
I mean, for me, yes.
For Luke.
Yeah.
But Luke and I are going to be on the same Armel team, so that's fun. I keep hitting the desk. I need to stop.
Okay. Also IOL for me.
That's not a math contest.
It's not a math contest, but I don't know. Sometimes they have number problems. You know, problems about number systems in other languages.
Oh,
this reminds me of all the times people like mistakenly think math is just like computation and calculation with numbers.
Yeah, like
what do mathematicians do? Oh, they calculate digits of pi.
No, when I was in 6th grade, that was around the time that I like really got into math contests. Like people would hear that I did math contests and be like, "Oh, yo, you do math contests? What's 97 times 86?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't do this sort of
8,342.
Yes.
Wait, to be fair, I opened a new tab and then typed it in Google.
Wait, you can just do 8,600 minus 3 times 86.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I was thinking that, but like.
But I can't do 3 times 86.
But subtraction
258.
Oh, we get it. You can do 3 times 86 in your head.
What? This is like.
Oh wait, you can do 3 times 90 minus 12. Oh, that makes it a bit easier.
Let's do 240 plus 18. Like it just.
Why are we having
okay.
I just gave it as an example. And then when I couldn't do it in 10 seconds, they would be like, "Oh, I guess you're really not that good at math." I'm like, dude, what? Okay, then.
Anyway, we're supposed to actually be talking about what is
more
the topic?
Serious things.
Yeah. So, for those of you who aren't aware, USJMO scores.
USJMO and USJMO scores were.
I was trying to do a parenthesis thing with my hands.
Yeah, J and
Sajmo.
Yeah, the scores and results came out fairly recently.
I am still not quite used to this new medal system, but I think it's for the better. You know, it's pretty cool.
Even though there are a few things, there are probably a few tweaks I would make if I were the person ultimately in charge, but on the whole, I think it's definitely a good system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
It's definitely a positive change from how it was in the past, even if there are a few things I would tweak.
Mm-hmm. And with And, for those of you who did well, congratulations. And,
But we, again, that's sort of, we also understand that like, that sort of relates to the main topic, is that like not everyone is going to win an award. That's
Yeah.
that's sort of a segue into the sort of one of the main topics of this episode,
which is
like
Like not doing as well as one might have expected and how to get out of that feeling.
or
right.
like we're not doing as well as one, like if you didn't do as well as you hoped,
Mhm.
and like what to do about it.
Yeah, which is a pretty common feeling. So first, I guess we should say the USJMO, they're brutal contests. Like, they are quite difficult. And
Yeah, it is like
so
like if you think of your average school test as like getting a 90% or something on the test, then like getting a 90% on the USAMO is already like very good. Like even getting like a 10% or like 5% is pretty good, right? Would you agree?
yeah, but I guess we're not strictly going by that, but like
And if you think about school tests as if you're grading on a curve, then like if I don't know, if you're in the top 10% or 5% or whatever, like just by making the Olympiad, you've put yourself in the top, however many small number of percent of people who took the AMI, which itself is the top not very many percent of all the people who took the test at
the
all.
AMCs, yeah.
And even then, most people don't even know about the AMCs.
Yeah.
Which, as a reminder, please tell your friends.
That the USA/JMO are some of the most prestigious awards for high schoolers. So, like, if you make it, then that's already fantastic. But I also totally get that.
When you have a test that is meant to distinguish among a few hundred people, among something like millions of high school students in this country, if it's a test meant to distinguish among the top few hundred, like people in the top like few hundred-ish, and you get a 0, like you're still in the top few hundred-ish. It's okay if you get it, like,
But I also totally get that it feels really
like I maybe this is an
upsetting
extreme example, but like if you have a chess game between the top 2 best players in the world and one of them wins and the other one loses, the one who wins gets a point and the one who lost gets 0 points, but he's still the second best chess player in the world.
Yeah.
Or something.
So you should be really proud of yourself for coming.
That's a bit of an extreme example, but it sort of gets the
I
point
also totally get that it feels really uncomfortable, weird to get a 0 or like even a single digit score, especially since you just popped off onto Amy and now you're over here, not doing all, and like and yeah, I totally get feeling upset about that, and it's but I also want to say it's a bit more common than you think because of how different the contest structures are. Like, there's a pretty large proportion of people who get 0s on their first try, and even extremely like successful math contest people. So,
and also like especially like if you're talking about getting a 0 on the JMO, like if you compare it, if someone got a 0 on the Amy, say, like on the Amy, at least, like number one, there are 15 problems on the Amy, and like you would only have to solve one of them to not get a 0, and like at least the first 5 are probably like quite accessible, and even like the middle 5 are still not going to be that out there, and like you only would have to solve one, and like if you've made the Amy, maybe you're probably not that getting a 0 on the Amy is terrible, but just like to compare it to someone who got a 0 on the JMO, like if you get a 0 on the JMO like especially this year's JMO, like 2, 3, and 6 were all like hard for JMO problems, and even 5 is like pretty tricky. So in a sense, you only had mainly 2 shots mostly at solving a problem. If for someone who's like in that like for someone who's maybe a newer contestant or something, like you basically had your 2 best shots to solve a problem. And so like it's not really like if you solve a problem and you like that's just like okay, that happens. There are only like if there are two problems and you don't solve either of them, like what does that mean? Like there are two problems. Like problem 1, you didn't solve it. Problem 4, you didn't solve it. That's just two problems. What does it mean? It doesn't. Like,
I
don't
also
worry
think
about
like
it.
proof style contests, like it requires a whole different kind of thinking that a lot of
Yes.
people aren't used to. And this like definitely has a contributing factor. Also the fact that you get so much time and like on a single day there's only 3 problems. It makes it feel like there's a long way to go, you know.
Oh, and like, don't feel bad if you did get a 0 on the Amy or something. But I'm, in this episode, maybe we're talking more about the Olympiads, especially since those scores are the ones that like just came out.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Wait, yeah, there have certainly been like Olympiad days or like mock tests at Moth that I've taken where I just straight got 0s on the entire test. And then
Me too.
it's something you
Yeah.
just get used to. Like maybe for your first Olympiad, you might be shocked that like, you know, you didn't solve anything. But like as you if you decide to get more into like Olympiads and contests in general, you'll realize that like not solving any problem on a single day is perfectly fine. And it even happens to people who are experienced as
You will also realize that 4.5 hours is not all that long.
Yeah.
Like if
That's
you're
why
new
very
to
good.
Olympiads, it might seem like, 3 problems in 4.5 hours. That's such a long time. What do you even do for that long? But if you get an experience, you're like 4.5 hours, that's really not that much time. I better hurry up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like I had something I was gonna say about there's like so for some math kid lingo, if you get a 0 on a math Olympiad, that's actually called getting swept.
It's sort
And
of
the
like
fact
there's sort of
and
slang of like if you solve all the problems on a day, it's
You
said
sweep.
that you sweep. And so the opposite of that is like
You got
if
swept.
you don't solve any of the problems, then it's, you didn't sweep the test. Now the test swept you. So you got
Yeah.
swept.
And like it kind of stings to say that you got swept. But here's the thing. The fact that there's this entire term for it
Means that it's not that rare.
it's it's not even rare at all. It's
Yeah.
extremely common. You could go up to like literally any Olympiad kid, ask, so why'd you get swept on an Olympiad? And they will, and I guarantee like pretty much all of them will have some horror story of getting swept.
And like, or if you look at the USJMO scores of this year, like on the USJMO this year, there are like around 300 people. Around 50, if you look at the score graph, that's around 50 people on the bar of 1. And on this graph, it combines the 0s and the 1s, but still, like, that's basically like people who didn't solve anything and maybe just got like one little observation that was worth some partial credit somewhere. Like, that's a full 1/6 of the participants, getting a 0 or a 1. So you're really not alone. On the to take the USJMO as an example, the USJMO is, maybe somewhat similar to the people who had like low single digit end of things.
Yeah, do you guys want to talk about some of your experiences and like low moments after contests where you haven't done well?
I guess I want to first preface this by saying that like if you do bad on a math contest, that does not mean that you're bad at math.
Wait, yeah, this is definitely very true. Also, like math is not just math contests. Like
yes, that
and we have like iterated this in previous episodes as well.
Yeah, just because the three of us have like a lot of experience in math contests, but there's a whole world of math out there. But yeah, if you do badly on one contest, that doesn't mean you're automatically bad. So it's kind of a cliche, but don't give up. So I guess all of our low moments.
I think like at least for me, like I know my experiences would probably be like very different from a lot of like audience members. But like in my senior year of high school, like I knew I had a chance of making the IMO team, but I didn't want to be like very sad about not making it. So like in the months prior or whatever, I would just like rationalize with myself and like be okay with not making IMO team, right? And then I did not make IMO team and I was perfectly okay with that. So I guess that's like one way you can kind of like deal with things that don't work out. I don't know.
Optimistic pessimism. Either you're right or you're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But I guess I have. Oh yeah, I do have like a pretty lengthy story about math contests. So, I came very close to quitting in my 10th grade year. Basically, it took me a very long time to make an Olympiad, and I won't go into too many details about this, but like it did not. It took me until my sophomore year to qualify for the JMO for the first time. Um, and part of this was bad strategizing on my part. Part of it was like bad testing anxiety and like another part of it was just I wasn't I wasn't challenging myself enough with my practice. There were like a multitude of factors, but uh like eventually it got to a point where it was like really wearing down on my self-esteem. So like and some people made fun of me for it, which was which is like in hindsight, you have nothing better to do with your time. Go do math.
Yeah.
Stop talking about me behind my back, man. But in that moment, it really hurt. So I kind of told myself if I didn't do well this year, I would quit. And honestly, I really regret thinking that at all. Like it ended up working out with fine in the end. Kind of it ended up working fine in the end, but I really wish I hadn't thought that because there were so many great moments in math, and like I hate to think that I would that in that moment I would have thrown it all away just because I didn't do well on like a contest.
Yeah, I think another low point for me, at least personally, was probably like after, like between middle school and high school. And like the reason is, well, there was actually like, I guess 2 reasons, and they both had to do with like my results on contests. And I don't like in retrospect, that was just like kind of silly of me, but at the time it felt like it meant everything, you know? But yeah, in the like right before the summer of 8th grade was math counts, of course. And as some people might know, I did not make a national countdown because I was tie broken out of it. And then I was really sad for a while after that. Because
you like got 13th place and then the top 12 make it onto the stage to compete.
Yeah.
And then you were...
He got the same score as a person on the stage, but
yeah,
tiebreakers in terms of like,
I don't know what their tiebreaker policy is exactly.
Who solved more problems in the last 10 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I was pretty sad about that. If you were my friend at that point in time, you will probably know that like every single day I would just complain about like getting 13th or something. It was kind of bad, but yeah, I was kind of sad. And probably another reason was like I also like was expecting to make the JMO that year, and I did not make JMO. Like for reference, I got a really high score on the AMC 10, and like just did not do well on the Amy. Some of you might know like my distribution, but whatever.
You said you messed up, and you missed that. If I remember correctly from our conversations, you actually missed that like extra point because you forgot to do the 1/2 on shoe.
Wait, I missed so many extra points on the Amy, for just like doing stupid things, like not putting the 1/2 in front of the triangle area formula. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's a bit besides the point. So like during that summer, I don't think I actually did that much math. But then like in the fall, I was like, there's this thing that I could sign up for called like WOOT, or Worldwide Olympiad something.
Worldwide Online Olympiad, something that AOPS runs.
Online training.
Yeah, it's run by AOPS. And then I think this kind of just like re-stimulated my interest because, it was kind of like math in a contest. Like it was like math in a setting where like there's not exactly scores to go off of. Like I guess there's practice tests to help you get that better, but it's not exactly like, you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's more focused about learning.
Yeah, like you just learn a bunch of different tools, and then like maybe they'll be useful in contests, maybe not, but like it's just still a lot of material to go through, and it was like very interesting, even like if it was or was not useful for math contests, like independent of math contests,
Yeah, which is like a pretty good big thing about math contests, just focusing more on learning than like actual math contest than like the scores or contests.
Right. And so there's like another thing, like there there's a friend of mine who I was talking about some stuff like this with recently, and so like, you know, I think so. One of the takeaways from the conversation from the talking with the friend is like, if you only care about the results, about you doing well, you know, you're gonna end up probably disappointed. You know, like this is a friend who like, and I think he like wished he had learned this lesson sooner or something. Like this is a friend who like, you know, trained really hard a bunch for a long time and still like was just like barely missing some certain things. And like, you know, he and like even this friend is still one of the like, in the big picture of the whole math community, this friend is still one of the more fortunate ones because he at least made MOP. And like, you know, most people never do that. You know, when you talk even broader, you know, most people never make the Olympiad. I mean, I guess if you pull back the lens really far, you know, most people never make the Amy even. So, but you know, like if even someone who's sort of that far up the ladder, so to speak, can still feel this way, like I think that's a lesson that, you know, everyone watching this episode can remember. Like, don't just care about the results. And so you need to like, and so, you know, more of the things this friend was saying is like, you know, you know, think about like what do I like, it's like, be sure that you have other reasons for doing it besides just, I want to make IMO, and if I don't, I'm going to feel really disappointed. I want to make USMO, or I want to make MOP, and if I don't, I'll be really disappointed. Or I want to make USMO, and if I don't, I'll be really disappointed. Or Amy, or whatever. Like, don't do that, because, like, if everyone who made MOP said, I'm going to set my sights on making IMO, and if I don't, I'm going to be super disappointed. Like, then most of the people are going to be super disappointed, and that doesn't get much of anybody anywhere. Like, that's not a system that we would want to have. Like, of course, we want people to aspire to things, but we want people to like not lose sight of more perspective in a way. So like, you know, be sure that you're not just doing it for that. Be sure to keep in mind like just the inherent, you know, niceness of the problems themselves, of the math themselves. And, you know, of course, keep doing math that has nothing to do with contest. You know, keep learning, I don't know, abstract algebra and complex analysis or group,
I'll help you
whatever.
later on. Also, like,
and and also another thing is like, also remember the value of like that. It's nice, you know, it's obviously the like one of the most cliched things, but you know, part of the real value of math contests is the friends we made along the way.
Hi,
but like
guys.
actually, hi, yeah,
hi.
like,
Not you,
actually,
Isabella.
What?
Welcome back to the Curious Square. Anyway, but seriously, like actually, like bear in mind the other valuable things, and then also like, if it turns
also, like,
out,
if you stake your self-esteem or feeling of success on your scores on math contests, that's a contest that's never going to go away. You can achieve your goals, but like you won't, if you keep having that mindset, you won't actually be satisfied. And I know, because I kind of felt it, because I would never feel like, eventually you'll get a point where you're never happy with yourself, and sometimes you need to just like see how much you've improved and enjoy what you've been able to learn so far.
And also, like, another thing related to my conversation with this friend is like, don't make your whole identity about being like a math contest doer.
Wait, because like when you go to like math contests won't stay with you forever, right? Like you will go to college and then have a life. But if you base your identity like all around, or if you base your worth around, say, your math contest scores, like You just won't be much of a person when you go to college, say. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And so, like, you can definitely make a lot of really good friends from the math contest community.
Like
And
Like Luke.
amazing. Anyway, you can definitely
I'm devastated.
you can definitely make a lot of good friends in the math contest community. You can definitely get a lot of people who do whatever Holden and Isabella are doing right now also.
What do you mean he hates me?
Wow. Anyway, but
Wait,
like
I do?
I will say one more thing. Like, the funny thing is, if you place that much, like, I will say one more thing before we move on to talking about friends and friendship is magic or whatever. It's like, the funny thing is, if you like stake like all of this like self-worth or whatever on math contests, that will actually make you do worse. Like, my worst math contest performances from 9th to 10th grade were contests that I cried before, or I walked into the
Cried
testing room
before?
literally. Yeah, I
like
did.
because of the test?
Yeah. It was quite embarrassing actually. Like, I was like, the big example is 2019 math prize for girls. I was supposed to be having a good time getting dinner with my friends, and then I started just bawling at the dinner table.
Like
It was
about being
awful.
nervous about the test or something?
Yeah. And it makes you do worse. Like, yeah.
I can imagine.
Because then you just walk in like completely like shaking and stuff. So if you're able to, I don't really have like a good way to like detach yourself from like the self-worth thing, because like that's something that really comes with time and perspective. But if you're able to like detach yourself from the content, like your contest like scores, you'll find that you'll be a happier and you will probably be a more successful person like in terms of math contests.
And so if you're like ultimately some of the things I was talking about with this friend ultimately lead up to like how do I say it? If you like ultimately you need to remember that you're like first and foremost a person and not like overly define yourself in terms of a math contest doer. So like if you need to have like you can have a bunch of friends in the math contest community, but don't like overly define yourself in terms of the community or something. Like ultimately if it just gets too much and you just need to take a break or even not do it anymore, like do whatever is right for you at the end of the day. And like if you need to take a break or just if you need to take a break, math contests will still be there when you come back. And if you need to just not do them anymore at all, like math will still be there. Or you don't even have to do math at all. Like you have ultimately like you're a whole person, and like just don't lose too much perspective. But like it can also be good to sort of, if you can keep it in the right perspective, like it can have its lots of really good things about it. So it's just like remember to keep all the contest experiences in perspective.
Yeah.
And just
we kind of like hinted at this earlier, but math contests are just a really great social experience. One of my favorite math contest memories is actually not even like a success story or anything. It was from my first HMMT, it was 2017, I think. Holden was actually there. We had no
I don't remember seeing you.
We have no idea that the other existed at all. So yeah.
I probably looked at
And
you
this-
and was like, this looks like a boring person.
Holden, why are you doing this?
I didn't do anything to you.
Holden, why are you doing this?
I'm fighting for my life here.
Holden.
Go on, Isabella.
My turtle is disappointed in you, Holden.
Where's my turtle?
I'm getting destroyed. Anyway. But yeah, it was my first HOT. Yeah, we weren't even set up for success, because there's a contest designed for six person teams, and we had a 4-person team. Which did not bode very well for team round or even individual, because like how well you do as an individual, like how well you do like in the individual aggregate category is like the sum of like the individual team scores.
So it's like would have been like something plus something plus something plus something plus
Yeah.
0 plus 0
Plus
for the
0
two
for-
people who don't exist.
Yeah. So we were not set for success, but it was still one of my favorite memories of like math contests because I just remember, running around in the airport with my friends, or going to the award ceremony, or taking pictures, or doing estimathon the night before. Great memories, and there wasn't really much of a burden of like a math contest. Like I didn't even do well. I got like what? I did really bad. Like I was not in the top. Like I was like probably somewhere near the median of the score, I guess. But yeah, it was still a good time.
I can tell you about one of my favorite contest experiences that didn't necessarily go perfectly, in the sense that like when I went to RMM, like in 2019, this is the Romanian Master of Mathematics contest. It's a lot like the IMO, except it's like sort of the median level of the contestants is like higher than at the IMO, since like the countries that are at RMM are like there are fewer countries at RMM, and it's like almost all countries that are in like the top half at the IMO, or in like the top even higher up, at RMM when you compare it to IMO. And so like, it's generally considered, usually it's harder than the IMO, though sometimes, maybe it isn't that much harder than the IMO, and so you just get really high scores. In fact, that's what happened in 2019. And so like I got a 36 out of 42, and it wasn't enough for a gold medal. And so like it was kind of disappointing. Yeah, overall, it was still a really good time because, like some people who are like really cool people, were on the team, and it was like really fun to be around. Plus, it was just really nice to like, it was a neat foreign country, One time it was even like we were walking down the street and it just started snowing, which is kind of exotic to, a Texan. It's just
Last time it snowed here, the whole state broke.
And like like, so it was a fun experience. And so and again, it doesn't have to be an international contest, but I'm just saying, like, similarly, like I think a lot of people can look at this as like maybe they can have a really good time, like even if they don't get the own individual results they do at some contest they travel to, when like a lot of the value of it can be like you have a good time with your mathy friends. Or, even if they're not so mathy, like you can still have a good time at the contest, hanging out with some people with your teammates, and you can have a good time even if you don't win first place in everything or whatever.
Yeah, I think another like good value of contests is that, you get the opportunity to meet other people just like you, regardless of like what score you get on the contest. You still have the opportunity to like talk to other contestants, like see what their life is like, see what they're interested in, talk about cool mathematics, and I think that's one thing that's very valuable.
Yeah, meeting cool people from various other places. And also, like if you're at one of these contests that you travel to, whether it's an international contest or just like, HMMT, CMIMC, PUMAC, or
even just
like
your local math contests.
Or yeah, even, just like take some time to enjoy like the setting, like like if it's a nice,
if you do like a local math contest, set up set up like a dinner or something with your friends afterwards.
Or if it's one of these travel to a college ones, like take some time to look around at the campus and be like, oh, nice campus or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Some people think if you're at HMMT, I don't know. Some people think MIT's campus is not that nice, but it's, you can still be like interesting campus or something.
And I think yes, it is very interesting.
All
the buildings are just like rectangles.
Well, there's that one building that's a triangle.
Okay, there's a 30, 60, 90 triangle.
Which one?
Building 66.
Okay.
And then you also have some other building that just doesn't know what it is.
Building 32.
Stata, yeah. But anyway, that's off topic. Because whatever wherever you're going, probably has some interesting buildings.
Yeah. Holden, do you have an experience?
Like math contest specific? I would say like probably like I would say Armel was really nice because, like, even though historically I've never done well at Armel, like at least my freshman and sophomore year, it didn't happen my junior year for obvious reasons. But like even though I didn't do well, I found it really fun because I got to hang out with all the kids, like, you know, from the Chicago teams, and also got to meet people from like Texas or Michigan. I think this is where I first met you, Luke, like at least in person. No. It was math.
You were
cons.
at math, yeah.
Yeah, I was at math cons, but like that was the second time I met you then. Yeah.
I was probably there too. You didn't know me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Even I didn't really know you very much back then, I think.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Anyway, I think we've gone on for quite some time. We've gone over our half hour again. So yeah. Not that half hour is the target, but you know, we're whatever the target is, we're probably over it.
Yes.
So
we will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode.
And you know, be sure to like, you know, you can send in questions.
More questions.
You know.
Yeah. Or feedback, you know.
Or feedback, yeah, you know.
Everything's good.
We read all of it for sure.
There's hardly any to read, so like more of it and more of it.
And we'll see you. Well, we'll see you soon.
See you in 2 weeks, and thanks for watching. And you know, remember to like the video or whatever people say.
Like, subscribe, smash that like button, and leave a comment too.
Oh yeah, we like comments too. Anyway. Please, thank you for watching, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
All right, now time to actually wave. Bye.